Hello Genshin crew, welcome in. My camera died, so we're doing this without it today. Good news, we already have Mizuki. She's right here. Look, she just looks different. But like she's better. So this one's good. Don't worry about the other one. I'm just kidding, but not really. We are going to talk about the 5.4 Genshin banners that are going to be released. And I've got good news and I've got bad news. They always tell you to end with the good news. So here's the bad news. These banners are terrible. Listen to me. Listen to me. These banners are terrible. But the good news is you can save those precious primos because Fiorina and Ridley are next patch. They are far more worth your primos. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on the characters anyways. Thanks for clicking on the video. Let's get to it. Mizuki, she's bad. I'm not here to sugarcoat it, everyone.
Is it time for our session?
Mizuki is bad. She has a beautiful design. Hey, she's got a tail. Look at that little thing. Boing, 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 boom. But she's not good enough. Now, hey, look. If you want a basically worse Sucrose and a samesies as Sayu character, and you don't care about meta, you just want to pull her because she's pretty, then fine. Rock and roll. You do you. I'm not going to judge. But for the new players and the veterans that are curious if this girl is worth it, she is not. She needs constellations to be on par with Sucrose. Sucrose has been out since the beginning of the game. And they released a standard character. Remember this, gang. There is a Genshin 5-star selector coming up this year. Guaranteed. You can get her for free if you're just patient. And remember, most people lose 50-50s like it's their job. Me, for sure. So if you just wait, the chances that you're going to get this new character are pretty high. Now, she's an animo unit. She's supposed to help drive like any type of sucrose-based comps, you know, taser teams, especially. Any kind of swirling damage that you can get from Mizuki, you can also get from Sucrose. But the problem is she is a healer, but the healing's not very good. And she doesn't work with Xingqiu or Yelan. And most of the taser comps and driver comps that we like to use with Sucrose and other animo units strictly involve those two units. Now she works with Fiorina, but it's like they went out of their way to make sure that she didn't work with those other two. So listen, if you want a basically strictly worse Sucrose, but for aesthetic reasons she's beautiful, then you don't need me for anything else. But you should continue to watch the video anyways. Sigewinne, not as terrible as Mizuki here. Sigewinne is a very good healer, and she actually can buff your units, and she has a special buff that buffs the characters that make bodies and put it on the field, like Fischl, like Fiorina, like Chiori. However, her cooldown costs for these abilities are ridiculously high, and her Hydro application is not very good. Okay, it's lackluster at best. So, going in, if you're prepared for that, if you want a cute little nurse girl who shoots bubbles, and you understand that her healing's great, but her Hydro application is kind of poop, then you're good to go. Then you will enjoy her. However, this banner, these characters on the banner, this is a bad banner. Okay? Sayu. And now, not really a driver per se, but an animo swirler. Okay? You put her in a comp, she can swirl, she can heal, just like most other animo units. If you want to make traversal easy, you have this fun thing going on. Her burst cost is 80, so it is expensive. Healing's decent. I would recommend people pull for Sayu before they pull for Mizuki. We have to protect our precious primos. But she's not super worth to actually try to get. Okay, if you flake and get her, cool. But you don't have to push. You don't have to hardcore grind for her C6. She is just not that worth it. Her C6 makes her better, of course, but all units, their C6s make them better. Xiangling, obviously a god tier unit. Off-field pyro application, kind of dethroned a little bit due to Mawika, but still has a very strong team utility with just about anything that you can think of that makes sense. Monopyro teams, vape teams, rainbow teams, burning teams, strong damage teams, the national. I mean, like, Xiangling can do it all. She is an incredible unit. But guess what? This banner is not worth you trying to get Ling. It's not. And then God forbid you get Goro. Goro is a defense scaling unit for defense teams. I can't remember the last time a defense team was that good. I don't even know what Goro's doing here. Goro, what are you doing here? Neither of the 5-star characters scale on defense. It's like Genshin knew that a lot of people were going to skip this. So they decided, okay, let's just throw some random stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And Goro stuck. Now, Goro is really useful if you like Arataki Ito. But the problem is, Goro's not even on Arataki Ito's best team anymore due to Furina and Xilonen. It's hard to find a place for Goro. I mean, if you don't have Xilonen and Furina, then I guess if you're an Arataki Ito main, you could use some Goro constellations. But it's not worth it. His C6 is good. C2 extends his duration. C4 brings in better healing. And then his C6. Oh, and Ling, you need her C4 because it increases the duration. But again, this banner is not worth spending your precious primos on. This banner is bad. Have some patience and save your primos. The weapon banner, don't bother. Weapon banner is not that good. Now, Mizuki's weapon is fine. It's got good elemental mastery. Most people's effect, like Sucrose, can use her elemental mastery. Can use the elemental mastery buff, but it's not good enough. I mean, heck, if you can snipe it in 10 pulls, sweet, awesome sauce. But you don't need it. And this bow, don't even get me started on the bow. There's so many really good bows in Genshin. The Silver Shower Heartstrings is not one of them. Let's pull them both up on the screen here for you. The equipped character gains the Remedy effect. When they possess 1, 2, or 3 Remedy stacks, max HP is increased by 12, 24, or 40%. And you gain that by stacking an elemental skill, a bond of life increases, or 1 stack of healing. The stacks can be triggered when the equipping character is not on the field, so you have to have this equipped to a character, but have them do stuff when they are not on the field. Each stack is counted independently, and when 3 stacks are active, your elemental burst crit rate is increased by 28%. Now, that may sound good. It's not worth it. The characters that you need, Diona and Yelan, are the 2 other characters that would like this bow, but you have to crank up the energy recharge so insanely high in order to make this bow work for either of the characters, and they can't fully utilize the passives. Elemental Mastery increases by 120 for 6 seconds after triggering Swirl. EM increases by 96 for 9 seconds after the wielder's elemental skill hits an opponent. EM increases by 32 for 30 seconds after the wielder's elemental burst hits an opponent. Yes, all that sounds good. And like it cranks up the flippin' EM to like 400 and something. Where's my calculator? 513. But putting this much elemental mastery on a really crappy unit, the numbers are going to look better if you have a 4-star elemental mastery weapon on a better unit. I'm telling you all, save your primos. Unless you're going for drip, then rock and roll. EM can be used on a couple different characters. We'll leave it to the testers to figure out how good it is on other weapons, or excuse me, how good it is on other characters. But unless for whatever reason you are hankering for an EM 5-star weapon, avoid. Avoid and save. Furina and the hunky Iceman are making their way to all of our homes and dreams in like what, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks or something? Hold out. It's worth it. They're worth it. You're worth it. I didn't go over too much in this video because there's not too much to go over. You should avoid these banners at all costs. Unless you're prepared for the ultimate consequences and like prepared for the losses of 50-50s. And you're prepared to understand how much you might regret pulling these characters. If you love them for the drip, get them. And you won't regret them, right? At the end of the day, a game is a game. But these primos are hard to come by. And you have to understand how much of an investment it is if you lose a 50-50 on this character banner or the weapon banner and you have to go all the way to pity again to get what you actually wanted to get. So take care, everyone. Thank you for watching. Use your Sucrose. Use your Lanyans, for God's sakes. Your Chaskas, your Linettes, your Wanderers, your Hyzos, your Zhaos, your Jeans, your Ventis. Don't bother with this girl. Wait till you lose a 50-50 or pick her on the 5-star selector. You all are worth it. These banners ain't it. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.